It's an absolute pleasure to speak with you both. And Matthias, congrats on this movie. I'm going to start with you. You directed the shit out of it, dude. Like, that's the only way I could phrase this. You killed it. And it's not your first time directing that, but it is your first time directing after being directed by Zack Snyder. So I would love to hear from you. Was there anything on Army of the Dead that you observed Zack doing and you wanted to apply it now to Army of Thieves as a director yourself?
Yeah, his creativity and his fantastic eye and his, he has so much, his energy and his visionary ideas. So I always, and Zack told me, if you want to create things, you really have to create it. Take your time, be there, be focused, be present. So, and dream big. You're allowed to dream big. You can do everything. It's your space. So that's what I took. That because I'm a thief, that's what I took from him on the set of Army of Thieves. Yeah.
Well, I love it, man. Everything you did with this, I loved it start to finish. I've watched it so many times already. Zack, the time loop references and the world building and stuff that you put in Army of the Dead, we see kind of teases of it touched on through dialogue and moments in Army of Thieves as well. I think it's really clever. I didn't miss the fact that Karina had an anime background and we're getting anime in Las Vegas. I love to hear, this world building you're doing here. It's so exciting. How integral is Thieves to what's coming in the future? Because I love what this did for Dead. It really adds layers to it. How much is it all going to be connected, like really thoroughly going forward?
I mean, listen, the good news is Shay and I have written everything, as far as the animated series. Shay and I did the entire thing, because that's another 2 hours of content, basically that you're going to get. Another, Shay wrote the entire script for Army of Thieves. He and I wrote Army of the Dead together. We have a plan for Army 2 and beyond. So I think that, if you care, it's there. How's that? That's our motto.
That's fair. That's fair. Do you think we'll ever see another one of your actors step in as a director again in one of these franchises you're working on right now?
I don't know. I mean, look, Matthias is a kind of unusual case, and it's kind of a perfect storm. And so it's a great, gift that we got from him, not only being an amazing actor and having this amazing character, but also that he is a director and understands storytelling and dramatic direction. And so was able to, and have this ensemble cast and put them all together into a movie. So, thank God we had this happen. So because I wasn't necessarily on the hunt for an actor director, but it just worked out perfectly.
Yeah, when the stars align, and they did in this one. I love it. Matthias, like I just said, this movie made me enjoy Army of the Dead even more because of what you guys do in Thieves, and I love both films. When you were filming as Ludwig Dieter on Dead, did you know this story and the rich history and how really perfectly they kind of connect and complement each other?
Oh, no, but no. To be honest, no. But we had this opening sequence of Dieter in the lock shop, and Zack said it today. In the film, it's 2 minutes, but the original first cut was something about 40 minutes. So, and I talked a lot about Hans Wagner and Richard Wagner in that sequence. So I knew a bit of the backstory. But when Zack came up with the prequel idea, and I read the first pages. It was crystal clear. Okay, wow, that's where we go. Norse mythology and the operas and the saves. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. And Zack, I love how, people love working with you. Your actors love working with you, and you do reunite with people every now and then, and you're staying with Netflix on one of your next projects on Rebel Moon. As that comes together, any chance we see some more familiar faces team up with you there?
Always. I mean, I love my guys. I always call these guys, I like my acting family, and I always, if they're not busy or whatever, it's always an honor to get to work with them again, like Billy Crudup and all those guys that it's always these are people that I just, it's just that I have been really fortunate and worked with such great people and consider so many of them my friends. That, yeah, it'd be great.
Well, I can't wait. I can't wait for everybody to see Army of Thieves and everything you got coming, Zach. Matthias, congrats on a great film. Thank you guys for talking, and talk to you soon. Hey, it's a pleasure to speak with you. I love this movie. It's so much fun. I've watched it more than once already. I love it. And I'm very excited to talk with you about it. Natalie, I'm actually going to start with you because we talked at F9 and you told me you don't drive. And yet another movie has put you in the driver's seat for some intense sequences. I want to hear about how, do you feel like you're getting better at it yet?
I'm getting better at acting like I can drive.
I love that. How did the two experiences compare? Because in this one, I think you're driving a massive truck in both films, but this time it's more of a little bit more off-road-ish. And I don't want to spoil anything, but it was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, no, she's definitely more of a capable, experienced driver for sure. So the kind of level, the stakes are much higher because of the size of the vehicle and what is happening, excuse me, in the back of it. So, obviously they're very different, but actually shooting them weirdly is quite similar. Like the process is quite similar, but it was a lot of fun.
That makes sense.
Either way. But do you know what's really hard though? Actually, they are different because on the Fast 9 one, we mostly shot against green screen, but on this, we had those amazing LED screens that wrap around. And I have terrible motion sickness, and it was really hard to not feel completely nauseous every time. Poor Matthias was like, Nathalie, I'm so sorry I'm doing this to you. And I'm like at the driving wheel going, right, let's do another one. Let's go. Because looking at the screens was making me so dizzy.
Oh my God. Wow. Props to you. I want to see that type of set so badly. I haven't been able to step on a set where they're using that technology. I long for the day where I could see it in action. I hope it doesn't make me sick though. Ruby, I'm very curious because Matthias, your director here, he was a Army of the Dead veteran, and he comes in and he's playing a familiar character to him. It's a franchise familiar to him. You're both very new to it, obviously, in your first time out. Did you ask a lot of questions? Did you have to see Army of the Dead before you joined this film? Did you want to know any of the answers, or did they keep it all from you to focus strictly on Army of Thieves?
I guess, Matthias and I, we wanted to shoot before we did this movie. So it was we never really made it. So this was the perfect opportunity. So I could ask him anything that I needed to know. And he would tell me before, because he gave me the opportunity to play this role. So I was like, what about this? How about this? And he gave me this huge list of movies that we could all watch. And so I was fit at knowing what was going on, which was great. But even though the story is kind of completely different, because it's not a zombie movie, it's a heist movie with safes, and it's exciting. So I'm really happy to see how the audience thinks the movie is.
How involved was Zach in crafting some of the story in the moments? Because I know he's such a visionary filmmaker. This world is his baby. Did you guys get to spend much time working on your characters and the story with him?
Yeah, not really, because of COVID. He couldn't get out there, and neither did Debbie. And so we very much felt their presence and input, and they were constantly giving us encouragement and notes from wherever they were shooting, because they had to do additional photography on Army of the Dead. And so we were in Prague, and they were wherever they were, and it was really it was such a shame that we couldn't be there, that they couldn't be there with us, but we very much felt their kind of presence and energy. So I actually met them for the first time on Zoom after we'd finished. So
crazy. Wow.
Really.
Wow. So, and my last thing, Natalie, I actually was wondering, you've been a part of so many awesome franchises. After watching Matthias go from making this first one to stepping into the director's chair, would you ever want to hop into a director's chair for an episode of a show you've been in or a movie that you've starred in? I
would love to do some directing, but only directing. I don't know if I could do what Matthias did and act and direct at the same time. I'm not a multitasker. I never have been. that's obviously like a stereotype that women get given, and that's just not me. Okay. And so I just always, I was in awe of him because he just did it. So it was amazing. And what a incredible achievement. And so I would love to do some directing, but like only if I'm a director. Only that thing at a time, please.
He killed it, but I hear it's a lot. And you both killed it as well. You both were fantastic in this movie. I am longing for the day we get more of your characters, hopefully down the line. Thank you so much for the time. I can't wait for everybody else to see Army of Thieves. What's going on, Thieves? How y'all doing?
How you doing? Excellent, man.
Brandon, you've got a lot of dope shit in that room.
Yeah.
Right, you're welcome to come hang out anytime you want. Like, come chill.
That Thanos' glove thing.
That's right. We got the Gauntlet. We got Hogwarts over there. Batman. We got it all. We got a Nova. We got it all. You guys are welcome to come chill.
I think we're going to get. Do you think we're going to get dolls? I would have to make them, wouldn't I? I'll have to make my own.
We're gonna have to talk to Netflix about getting a toy line out there, some collectibles and stuff. But yeah. But you listen, man. Stuart, I'm not gonna lie. You'd make quite the action figure, dude. I mean, you're playing a character who I think desperately wants to be an action figure, which is hilarious. I love the Nick Cage references and the jokes in his name of Brad Cage. I got to hear about that. Like, did you have any input on that? Where how do you look at Nick Cage and find that the inspiration there for Army of Thieves? I know that had to be fun.
I just remember meeting Matthias. When we arrived in Prague and going, hey, so what do you think for this character? Where should we put him physically? Because we've got 4 weeks before we start. I've got a bit of time. And he was like, can I swear on this?
Go for it.
He said, I see him with veiny arms. I was like, oh. It was like, Batista, like, they were big and they were over me. And I'm going, dude, I'm not going to get there. But I had 4 weeks, 6 weeks or whatever to get going. But I think the thing was, let's have him look pumped. Because that's what he's like all the time. So yeah, it was fun, man, because he's so ridiculous. I love playing him.
That's fun. Who knew this would be like a Wolverine audition at the same time?
Huh?
Insanity. Guz, man, I talked to Nathalie and she told me a little bit about the set where like you're driving. You guys use the like the LED screen technology instead of green screens on this one, is my understanding.
The volume. Is that what they call it?
I got to hear about what it was, because I have never seen one of those in person. I long for the day that I get to see a set where those are being worked. What was it like to be the driver and experiencing those kind of, virtual backgrounds that are the size of a whole set?
Now that Stuart has sworn, I'll tell you in plain English, traumatic, my friend. This stuff was making me feel like I was going to vomit and have some kind of brain aneurysm at the same time, because essentially it's constant motion sickness. And obviously being in the front seat, literally, you know what it is? You go to the movies and you sit on the front row when the movie is entirely packed. So you're looking at it at this angle. Now imagine that you could then see the pixels in the screen, and you're the getaway driver supposed to be looking smooth, suave, professional. Man, I was going to vomit at least 27 times. I had to do most of the takes with my eyes shut, actually.
Unreal, dude. Well, I had no idea watching it.
Isn't it? It's
horrible, bro. It's horrible.
You can't see. You're looking out the window and it goes right down to the floor, so you can't see where it ends. And then you get out of the car. Because it was like a skidding off as well. You get out of the car and it's weird. You feel like you've been moving. I mean, it tricks your mind.
Yeah, that's unreal. I'm glad you didn't vomit, because I wanted to shout out your shoes in this one, guys. You were rocking some dope kicks.
Listen, bro, it's very important that this is completely outside of character. But if my reputation is cemented as not an Oscar winner, but the guy that wore dope sneakers in everything he was in, I'm more than happy, bro.
I love that, dude. So, Stuart, I feel like Brad is pretty equipped for the zombie apocalypse more than everybody else we see in this movie. No offense, guys. The driver, that's an important role in a zombie apocalypse, but the guy who wants to be
driving for the sunset.
I'm telling you, but the action star, I feel like he thinks he would thrive. So I want to hear, as we've seen Army of the Dead and the shape this world could take, how do you think Brad would fare? Would the cockiness get in the way, or would the skill set help him out?
I think he could go he could have the same fate as Theo Rossi, couldn't he? He could be like stepping out the doors cocky and then wiped out in 5 minutes. I feel like, you know, when we if we revisit these characters again, we're going to have to see that soft center, you know, that we touched on of Rolf and Brad's. We're going to have to see a vulnerable side to them. So, you know, maybe he's a changed man.
Yeah, hopefully. Have you guys talked about when we might see you again in this world?
I don't know. Who knows? It would be fun to do. So we'll see, you know, we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Fingers crossed. You guys killed it in Army of Thieves, one of my favorite movies this year. Thank you so much for talking.
Brother, thank you very much. Cheers, Brandon.
Thank you, man. Nice one, Brandon.